I'm doing all the things and I still don't have what I want. Why is it taking so long? All of those questions, you probably know them. You probably have experienced them yourself. I hear them especially from clients in the beginning when we start working together. They apply techniques, they work on things and they still or don't have what they want. Or I also read it here in the comment sections under my comments or comments of like other content creators here. And this is what I want to talk about here today. First things first, my name is Lydia Wilmsen. I'm a mindset and high performance coach for high achievers who are ready to leave the hustle behind and really create a life of their dreams. And here on the channel, I speak about all things manifestation, conscious creation, nervous system regulation, creating the life of your dreams, business growth, all of that for high achievers. So those driven personalities who really apply the things and they still don't see the results that they want. And today, as I said, it's really about the bridging period. It's about the time when you start applying things, when you start putting the things into practice, and then it takes a day, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, and you don't see the results that you want. This is today's topic. And before I forget, if you want to work with me, you find everything in the description. I have the Mind Mastery community where you get weekly live calls with me, which is amazing. It is way below the price that you usually pay here for coaching sessions. You can also book one-to-one. This is high ticket, but the Mind Mastery is where you get amazing support from me in group coaching sessions. And we are not so many members yet because we are just starting. So check this out. It's at the moment $200 a month, which is amazing. So join us there. The links are all in the comments. If you want to hear from me, like what's going on, how I can support you, you can also find on my website all the links to my channel, to my Instagram, to my LinkedIn. And you can basically send me messages there and then I can look at what's going on for you and what I recommend you to do. Okay, cool. So the bridging period. You are applying things and you don't see the results yet. What can happen here? What is happening? I'm very, very honest with you because I have been there. I've seen it happening with clients, with myself. When you say you're doing the things, when you say I'm applying everything and I'm still not seeing results, what usually is happening is that you're applying things, you're doing the work, but then in the moments between, you're shifting back into your old identity. You're shifting back into your old mindset. So when you do your affirmations, when you do visualizations, when you are aware of what's going on, you're doing some form of whatever technique. That's all nice and good. But then 5 minutes later, half an hour later, you are going back into the old way of doing things. You're thinking unconsciously. You're going into unconscious mode and you're going back into the old identity, into the identity of lack, into the identity of I have not what I want. So for example, if you're lacking money, you can do all the affirmations, saturating your mind and all of that, but your mental diet, your mental hygiene is not on board. So after you've done a saturation session of half an hour, after that, you go into like subconsciously, very sneakily, those thoughts pop up of like, oh, I'm not sure if it's working. Let me check my bank account if the money is already there. But those thoughts already are part of lack, are part of the old identity. The thought of, let me check if the money is there, if it has worked, comes from a place not of I have the money, but let me check if it's there because I don't have the money. Until now, I didn't have the money. So it's the opposite identity. Or if you say like, I'm not sure if it's working, guess what? That's the identity of the person who doesn't have that what you want. The same with relationships. If you are working on creating your dream relationship, and then you go into like, oh, has someone reached out? Has my romantic partner or the person I want to be with, has this person messaged me? Or you are in a romantic relationship already, but the person is not showing up in the way that you would desire them to show up. And then you're like, let me talk to them and let's see if they react differently. This is the old identity. This is the old identity of I don't have what I want. And now let me check if it has changed. But if your identity is one of course they show up for me, of course they are super nice and friendly, then you wouldn't even check. The same with money. If you know that you have the money, you're not going to check the bank account if you have the money. Or if you're waiting, or if you want to have the new job, you're not going to look for proof in your 3D, in your physical reality, because internally you have it and then you don't have to check it. And this checking is a sign for you not being that version. And those are the moments where you have to check in with yourself and make the shifts every single time. And I know there are people who say, I'll just be it and whatever. Yes, it is true, but 99% of humanity is not wired like that. 99% of humanity is always going back to lack, especially when you come from a reality where you only had lack, where you had struggle, where you had trauma. It works for people, I know, and it doesn't work for many other people. And those people have to check how they are thinking more often, because it is not as easy for them to shift into a new identity. And what has helped me there is EMDR is a specific trauma therapy that I teach my clients that does rewire your past, that does rewire the trauma that you have gone through. And trauma is not just the big things of war and hunger and devastation and massive physical abuse. No, trauma can be if you grew up without acknowledgement of your parents, without constant love and appreciation of your parents. If you grew up feeling slightly ignored, not appreciated, not wanted, even though it doesn't sound big, this is a massive traumatic imprint if it is ongoing. And then you basically wired yourself into, I have to achieve constantly, I have to do things. And you go into like a loop, and you loop it in your life day in and day out until you resolve the traumatic trigger from the past. And for me, this has helped. So what I basically teach is that you basically rewire their past. You, with EMDR, with how I teach it in a self-paced way, you can apply it at home. You can let go of the triggers from the past. You can let go of resistance, of the limitations of your mind, the negative struggle spiral you're in. And then, on the other hand, you apply conscious creation and manifestation, because then the resistance is gone. It's almost like if you're driving with gas and brake at the same time. What we do, we let go of the brakes. We rewire your past. We let go of the limitations. We let go of the brakes so that then, yes, you can push the gas pedal and go full in. And then it will finally work. And then there is this time in between where you're learning things, and this is what hot-cold behavior is. Where you're applying, like you're rewiring some things of the past, you're doing the affirmations, all of that stuff, but then you go back into old patterns. And this is then where you fall back into old patterns, into old thinking. And then you have this almost like things show up of the old identity and the new identity. And then it's really about persistence. Persistence means to keep going before you see the results, and keep thinking as the new you, and keep rewiring the old shit and letting the old traumatic imprints go. Keep doing that, and then step for step, the new reality will show up in your physical reality. It's a process, but most people give up way too early. Most people think they just have to repeat affirmations 10,000 times and then it's done. And yes, for a few people it works. Yes. And for many people it doesn't, because after the 10,000 times of saturation, they go directly back into their old habits, into the old mental diet, into questioning things, into going into lack mentality, checking if things are there. And if you're checking if something has already happened, it means you're in the old identity. Because again, if you are in your new identity, you wouldn't check because you already know you have it. So of course you don't check because you have it, Or perhaps you would check, but from a place of, no energy behind it. It's almost like, I know I have whatever, apples in the fridge, and just because I want to look into the fridge, I check if they are there. But it's not because I'm not trusting that they are there. It's just like almost like a habit, but not with the energy I don't have apples in the fridge. It's more like, let me check again what else is in there, And this is the energy that you have to check that you have to see you're coming from when you're checking for results. If it's just something like, hey, I want to check how much money I have in my bank because I'm looking forward to it, then of course you can check your bank account. But if you're checking because there is this thought of like, oh, I'm not sure if it has worked. You have to be honest with yourself, because most of the time this is the case. So all the people who say, I'm doing all the work and it's not working, it is because there is still both identities at hand. The old identity of lack, the old identity of it's not working, I don't have it yet, and the new identity. And you have to keep persisting and really keeping your mind in check with the new identity. Keep your mind in check to come from that energy, from that new identity. So this is my video today. If nothing is working, it is because something is going on in your mind. It will work if you keep going. It will work if you really keep your mind in check, because it's a law. It works always, forever. I can guarantee you that. I see it constantly with things where I was thinking like, I'm not sure if this is working, if it's happening. Then I keep persisting, and of course it's working. Of course I get the feedback later on that this is exactly what the people thought that I would think, that I thought they would think, So I always get the proof once I have let go of the resistance and kept persisting. It is always the same. So the guarantee is there. It is a law, but you have to do the work, basically. So if you need support with that, reach out to me. You can find everything in the description. And I'm so happy to be back. I'll be doing more videos now. If you have anything you want me to talk about, put it into the comments. Other than that, please subscribe, share, comment, like, whatever. I'm happy to have you on board, and happy to record the next videos. Until the next video, bye.